showing up for yourself and for yourself and for others is important in your 20s and 30s as you.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, I'm Sael.
And I'm Sugandha.
Welcome to our channel. Today we'll cover some very simple, basic life lessons that we learned in our 20s, which are helping us in our 30s and will obviously in future. But we want to share that so people who are watching it can take a note, and obviously, we want to help people with what we learn in our life. So, Sugandha, you want to say anything?
Absolutely. Let's just dive in.
Just dive in, yeah. Sugandha, over to you.
So first thing that we wanted to talk about was how showing up for yourself and for yourself and for others is important in your 20s and 30s as you go on.
I think the basic lesson that I learned in my 20s was a paper or a digital photo cannot stand for me. Be it going to office, be it making friends, be it family events, be it spending time with our own parents. Showing up doesn't just mean taking a stand and fighting with people. Showing up also means being present and dealing with people in our life and creating our own presence, our own brand, our own emotion, our own love, so that when we move on in our life, they remember us for a positive notion, and it also creates a memory in their brain about us.
I think showing up is also very important when we think about disciplines of our life.
Yeah.
If you think about showing up for yourself, be it in a gym setting or be it in a startup that you're working on, or just be in your daily life, like taking a shower every day. If you're showing up, you are essentially proving to yourself that you are consistent in the small daily activities of your thing. And the most impact actually happens in the unglamorous. Like, people see the outside end result, but that only can happen when you've shown up day after day after day.
I can give a very small example. Today we wanted to record this meeting, so we showed up, but it took us 3 to 4 takes just to shoot this video. So showing up just means taking the leap of faith and taking the first step. It may not be the perfect, but it's fine.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the next one.
So the next thing that we wanted to talk about was how it's important to learn to unlearn and relearn in this changing environment.
Wow. So we are in 2025, and I think right now it's more important than anything else. As artificial intelligence is coming in everywhere in the world, everybody has to learn, relearn, and unlearn all these fancy words in profession at least. But be it live, right? For example, we all grow up with different notions, different ideologies, with different understanding of things that are about the world. But there comes a time where we realize the real fact. Sometimes we are wrong. Then we have to understand what is right for us, and that is a step where we need to sometimes forget what we know, relearn something the right way, and then move on in life. When I talk about AI, right? Currently, I'm learning AI and how it can impact our future, be it our profession, be it our finances, be it our future growth. And why am I doing it, and why I always do learn new things, is so that we can always be competitive. We can always be ahead in life. So that's a very professional angle to it. Sugandha, do you want to add something?
I think I want to quote Barney Stinson on it. He always says new is always better.
Yep.
And but I don't fully agree with it. I think as times are changing, it's important to understand day in, day out, we need to make sure we change ourselves. And we are doing it nonetheless, right? Like, you remember the days of handheld telephones when we didn't have the luxury to just go around with our phones in our pockets. And today we've changed through that. So that's just a small pivot that happened in our life. But if you think about big things, like technology is coming up, like relationships changing, like becoming a parent, a lot of things keep changing in our life, and we need to embrace that change so that we can become a better person with it. At the same time, the spin that I said that I agree on is we also need to remember where we came from. So old is also gold. So we need to remember the basic fundamentals of life, because those don't change. So your values will not change, but they need to adapt to the new style of living, so to say.
Absolutely. So in a summary, it's about understanding what's good in our foundation. And second thing is what we need to learn to stay ahead of time, or at least with time. And third part is realizing and reflecting always what part of me needs to evolve so that I can stay ahead or at least in the same pace as where the generation or the world is moving forward.
Absolutely. And I wrote this beautiful line here: life is a journey of continuous reinvention, not a fixed destination.
Yeah, I wish I knew all this in 20s.
Okay, next thing, I think it is a very important thing, which is about knowing your numbers.
Oh yeah.
What do you want to say about this, Sael?
See, I was so bad in numbers, which I mean by finances. I was bad in maths. But when I realized how maths or finances decide how we live our life, something changed in me. So a lesson that I learned in my 20s was I should know my numbers. I should know how much I make, how much I spend, how much I will need in future, 1 year from now, 5 years from now. Can I predict at least a little bit about my future financial needs? And then taking a step back and understanding where I stand right now. Why it's important is if I don't know my numbers, then somebody else will control me because they are thinking about their numbers.
I agree. I think in our 20s, especially because of the mistakes that we've done, I remember when I was making whatever numbers, but it was much more than I needed. I didn't realize I started spending more than I needed as well.
I think it's called lifestyle inflation.
Yeah, went through a big lifestyle inflation, and a lot of things changed when I realized, hey, where's all my money going? And that was the time that I reflected back, what was missing. And I realized that I wasn't really looking at where my numbers were going, where the money was going. And it's not just about income, right? It's about understanding the incoming and outgoing of your life. And that, I think, reflecting back, my mom has always done that. And I think we forget to learn these basic principles sometimes from people around us. And that moment made me realize, hey, take a step back. And today we know where we are today is because of the numbers we've looked at, the numbers we've forecasted. So it's very important to understand your numbers today, as well as, once you get used to it, you'll get to also forecast your numbers. You'll also get to plan ahead, budget for things, and so on.
Yeah, I think in summary, I would like to say I've seen my mom and dad taking notes about how much they spent the whole month, what they're doing with their money. And somewhere down the line in my mind, I noticed it, and that's in the fancy world called budgeting. I made a whole video on how to manage personal finances. Maybe you can go check it out. I won't talk much in detail here. But to summarize, I think we need to know what drives our life, and that is numbers, money, health numbers, like how's our blood doing, how's our body doing, and all those sort of things. But let's move on to the next part.
So next thing that I wanted to talk about was prioritizing presence over, perfection. So how do you think it's important, Sahil, for understanding that quality time is more important than, having it a perfect articulation of things?
The main example that comes to my mind, like almost 15 months ago, we welcomed our first baby into the world, away. And prior to that, our life was very different. We had a lot of time in our life. We used to go out for trips and road trips and explore, go for brunches and dinners and all those sort of things. We had plenty of time. And that's what we used to call as quality. But right now, we have a lot less time. But whenever we take out 5-10 minutes for each other, we are present in that moment. What I'm trying to say is, not always a lot of time is required. Sometimes it's all about, let's just put the phone down, look into the other person's eyes and understand how you're doing, how can I help you, where is your life going, what's happening. It's because presence is not calculated in minutes, it's calculated in feeling.
I agree. I don't have anything to add. Authentic connection, I think, always trumps perfection. You can plan the perfect date, but if you're not authentic and present in that moment, it would not be valuable.
So in summary, I think if I knew this in my 20s, I would have been more present with my friends, because we are all going with the flow. I would have been more present in my career, listening to things that matter. I would have been more present in our relationship, we're always working, we're always improving our relationship, but we always reflect and improve. So I think what matters is sit with your loved ones, be it a few minutes a week or a few minutes a month, and just talk to them and understand what's happening with them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we say, hey, I'll talk to you when, we have the right time. I'll talk to you when we go out. I'll do this when there's the right time. But there's no perfect time for things like this. As long as you can maintain a respectful communication style and you can give quality time to each other, I think that's more important in any relationship, not just a partnership.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on. The next thing that we wanted to talk about was choosing your circle wisely.
When she say choosing a circle wisely, that means the people we hang out with. I think I heard in some of the books is we get an average of top 5 people we hang out with. We become an average of their health, their wealth, their mindset, how they think, how they deal with life, and pretty much everything. So either we can be a product what happens to us from the people we're surrounded with by default, or we can intentionally choose to spend more time with people who add value into our life so that the average we becomes better. And that can only happen if we know our numbers in terms of our life, be it health or finances. And second, if we know the goals we want to achieve, and then we start to figure out, okay, what kind of people should I reach out to? What kind of mentors should I find in my life? And then how can I spend time with them? How can I be in presence of them so that when they share their knowledge, I am there capturing each drop of wisdom, and I can improve the average that I'm becoming in life so that I become a better person from what I was yesterday, and then and moving forward in future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the people around us, they become our mirror as well as they become our fuel. So you can see where you are heading, but at the same time, they'll give you the motivation that you need to move forward in life. And I mean, it's a simple example. If I'm feeling down, Sael always does that for me. And hopefully I do that for him as well. And other people in our life as well. So when we choose our circle, I think we decide in a way where we want to be in our life. So the people I look up to are the people who I aspire to be, right? And if I am only keeping people around me who are just like me, I'll probably not be able to get ahead. So even at workplace, I have people who I can reach out to, I can connect with, I can actually understand their point of view so that I can bring myself from where I am to the next level to fill the missing gaps in my life.
Yeah. I think in summary, know where you are and know where you want to go. And then for the journey from point A to point B, find people who can help you.
I think just to add one small thing on that, it's important in our 20s to invest in those relationships that can last you for lifetime. I'm still in touch, with one of my very close friends in India. And even today, she will guide me on certain things when I'm stuck, when we need help, when we need some guidance, because she's ahead of me. So she's not just a friend, she's like a mentor figure for me. And these kind of people allow us to make sure we are elevating in our life. And it's our responsibility, it's my responsibility to invest into that relationship, otherwise relationships just fade away.
She made a very good point. In summary, I think we need to invest into a relationship where we want to learn from. It's not a transaction. It's all about repo and trust.
Absolutely. Okay, I think let's talk about the last point.
Sure.
And it's a very important point. And I'm still struggling with learning this and implementing this in my life. But it's about embracing our boundaries and creating boundaries. So what do you think from your 20s, Sael? What have you learned about embracing boundaries?
I think let's take a step back. We only know our boundaries when we know our self-worth. We only know our self-worth when we have thought about us. In my 20s, as far as I remember, I would always do things that will make others happy. Not that I'm saying that we should not do that. What I'm saying is doing only that is not good. So boundaries means understanding what gives me energy and what drains my energy, and then drawing a line sometimes in not doing the activities or not meeting the people or not engaging in activity or not engaging in things that can draw me down in life, and then drawing what do you say, in summary, just knowing what can help us and sometimes putting myself first.
Absolutely. I think boundaries are, I 100% agree with that. Boundaries are all about self-respect. So it's not selfish having boundaries. It's very important that you understand where your values lie, what's your priority in life, and that's how you can set your boundaries. And we do that all the time at work. Like I said, I struggle with it sometimes. But if I don't set those boundaries at my work, like let's say, hey, I won't be available after 5:30, that means I'm setting a boundary because I have my life, my family, which is also important for me. I can't just give my 100% of the time to my work. That is not to say that when I'm working, I'm not giving my 100%. While boundaries means that I segregate things, but it doesn't mean I give my 50% at one place and 50% at other place. When I am there, I'm 100% there. But when I'm not there, or when I'm with my family, I'm 100% with my family. And that's what boundaries mean for me. It allows me to have mental clarity of what we want to achieve.
Yeah, I wish I knew this in my 20s. In summary, it's compartmentalizing the priorities, setting a boundary, and being present in the moment whenever we're dealing with a certain topic, work, or talking to a person.
Absolutely. And I think, one thing I say about work especially, people struggle with setting boundaries because they feel like they haven't put their whole in work. And that's where it's important to go back to other lessons that we talked about, making sure you're learning, making sure you're growing yourself. So you're not just doing hard work, grunt work at your work. You're actually doing smart work so that you have a leverage, your self-worth, and you can create your boundaries very strongly as well.
Perfect. Are we all done?
Yeah.
I think I've got the last one that just came into my mind is I grew up a person who's always pleasing people, or we call it people pleasing attitude. I'm still working on it. I'm still getting better at it. But I believe a lot of us or people who are watching this may have the same issue, that what other people will think. Guess what? This problem can never be solved, but it can always be improved. So I wish I knew in my 20s that when I do what I want to do, without hurting anybody and without having any evil of anybody, after some time when I succeed, people who are opposing me will support me. And sometimes people, when they oppose me or they oppose, let's say if you're watching and let's say somebody is opposing you, think why they're opposing you. Because people in our life, they're like litmus test for us. Either they give us good news or they give us improvements. So we should take it with a growth mindset and not say, I will not listen to anybody, whatever they're saying. Understand they may be helping us with finding one of our weaknesses. So at the end of the day, people will think what they want to think. But we should always remember that we should not have that spotlight syndrome that everybody's thinking about me. No, that is not practical and that is not possible. Everybody's thinking about them. And we should then move forward with our goals, our passions, and what we really want to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think one thing I do want to add is not everyone wishes well for us.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes
that also happens.
Sometimes people will suggest you things are out of envy or out of just pure not positive vibes. But the idea here is the people who are in your life, you want to make sure that you're learning from them and not always getting defensive out of sheer protecting your own self kind of ideology.
Yeah, I think in summary, understand who is bad for you and who's good for you. People who are good for you, take care of them, be present with them. And people who are bad for you, check if they are bad just because you don't like the truth they are telling you, or if they are bad that they mean bad for you. And then make a call, how much time you want to spend with them, and then make a decision. But anyway, taking a step back, summarizing, be present in the moment. Okay, know your numbers. And the last one that I can share in summary is, don't always think what other people will say, because everybody is busy in their lives.
few other things we talked about was showing up. And showing up is because consistency, even though it's unglamorous, it is what gets results. Another thing we talked about is learning to unlearn and relearn, because new is always better. Then prioritizing presence, understanding the importance of your circle, people around you, embracing boundaries.
Oh wow, I forgot a lot. Okay. See, I mean, I'm not perfect. But I'm
Not-
still sitting here and talking to you.
Not people pleasing, prioritizing presence, and knowing your numbers. I think
Perfect.
I might have said a few things here and there, but those are the things that we feel have been the most impactful learnings. There have been a lot more, but those are the things I feel are worthy to talk about and really keep forward as we head in our next phase of our life, and setting our next goals, so that we can ensure that we keep moving forward.
Yeah. I call ourselves millennial parents. We both are in 30s now. We are building the next phase of our life, teaching our son how to be a gentleman, how to be a responsible boy and a responsible man. So we are learning and we'll keep sharing. But all these lessons that we just spoke today, I wish I knew them in my 20s. And if I have to write a book, I'll use all these lessons. I might publish a book in future with the same lessons, because they are priceless. But from me, I think it's all for today. Thanks for watching. Sugandha, you want to add anything?
Thanks for watching.
All right, bye for now.